Well, after one disappointment does not mean you stop and get discouraged and walk away from the lathe and go. No, you look for a doable challenge, or you look for something easy that you put on the lathe and get over your downs. In this case, I don't go the easy route, I just go a doable route. I have a piece of what I believe to be Sycamore that I picked up a few months ago. So it's rather green, but no sign of bark whatsoever on this. It has all separated, but it has a quad crotch going through. And deciding on what to do with a piece like this can be a little bit daunting and a little bit of a challenge. So I think what I want to capture is something that probably comes up to this height over here, and it will be a deep bowl. Let's put it this way. It will be a deep bowl. This will concave inside. Don't know if I'll make a pedestal or not, or just make it one piece, nice and deep, and see how it plays out with the character that the wood has. My hopes, of course, are to show off these grains with the different swirls and different branches coming off, and that they actually show off. So I could literally chop this down on the bandsaw, because none of this is going to play out with the piece itself. All of this is going to go. But as soon as I do that, I have no options to let the piece develop and see what the piece actually has to offer, other than what I might be envisioning. So rather than do that, rather than modify this just for the sake of me making it easier on me, I want to start shaping the bottom of it and see where things are playing with each other, as to what point, because I might want to come up all the way up to this lower part. I might. Because the wood will determine on if actually that's where it is. Once you've seen it rotate and you see in the ghost image, you get a much better picture of what the piece has to offer, rather than right off the bat say, yep, I'm going to cut it over here, and therefore that ends your design of what the wood looks like. So what do? We take it, we mount it, and we let it develop as much as it wants to. Now this has a lot of checking. My guess is that this checking is not going to go all that deep. There might be little hairline checks still, when all said and done, on the piece. And I will see if that happens to be offensive or not. And this might very well stop where I just said it would, which would be down here and capture some of this. But again, don't eliminate your options right off the bat. Carter & Son 5/8 bowl gouge hasn't seen the sharpener in a long time because the edge on this lasts pretty long. And I'm going to be doing some rough cutting. So rough cutting, I'm not looking for a final touch on the wood. So if I need to touch it up, I'll touch it up just at the end to get me some really clean cuts. But the way it is right now, it still has a pretty good edge. Enough for me to rough this out and get this going. Speed is going to go 300, 400 RPM. I will start it off. This is 430 RPM, which is fine. You know, I should bring this up. Not here to promote tools, but to tell you how you have to buy the best and the greatest of anything. Carter & Son. Great bowl gouge. I do find that I have to do a lot less sharpening with this gouge than I do with something else. And I shouldn't say a lot, just less. It's a very hard steel. It's a pleasure to work with. It's well balanced. It feels good in your hand. It feels secure. It's a nice bowl gouge. If you are in a position to want to get the very best, Carter & Son. But if you're modest and you work with what you got, which is the motto of my channel, but you want to buy something that's a pretty good tool and not going to break your wallet, these Hurricane tools have been amazing tools in my shop. I use mostly, I bought the 3 kits, the 5/8, ½ inch, and 3/8 or ¼ inch spindle gouge. The 5/8 has a pretty good handle, length handle. It's well made. The steel is pretty good, holds an edge for a very long time, and it's an extremely reasonable bowl gouge. When I say extremely reasonable, it takes it away from $100 and some bowl gouge, you know, to $100 to buy 3 of them, roughly. Don't quote me on that, but you know, they don't give them away. I mean, lathe tools are not cheap per se. If you're really frugal, then you can use your Harbor Freight set, $80 for a whole set, an 8-piece set, which comes with scrapers, roughing gouges. It just doesn't come with a good bowl gouge. So one of the roughing gouges, I profiled it this way, and once you profile it this way, you can use it a little bit safer as a bowl gouge, and you can use it in there. I used this for over a year as a bowl gouge before I had the Hurricane or before I got the cutter inside. So I still believe firmly on work with what you got. You don't need the best to have fun and to do good workmanship. And you can see that you can still cut safely. Your best edge you're gonna get, the blade does dull down more frequently than the other ones, but it was $80 for a whole set. Now do not use a roughing gouge as a bowl gouge, because the sharp edges on the ends, the way that a bowl gouge comes, is notorious to get some nasty catches as you're going back and forth. It's okay for your spindle turning and you rotate it, but not for bolts. So if you're going to do anything like that, make sure you profile your gouge accordingly. I'm going to sharpen this up a little bit, freestyle, and bring it back over here, and you'll see what it does. You can see that this is very rough, but then again, I'm not working on clean cuts, but just showing you the difference between a sharp tool and a dull tool. So, sharp edge, just follow the profile that's already done. We're going to do it freehand. And you can see immediately the difference from this to this. That's the difference of a sharp tool versus a dull tool. And again, see, I'm sneaking it up, and you can see night and day the difference that it makes on the cut. But it's time for me to stop playing with this and start getting the general shape of this. I just wanted to show this a little bit and showing you that you can do it with any tool. It doesn't have to be the best of anything. So go in there and start getting down and dirty. Be looking at the ghost image as this is spinning and see what you see and see if you like what you're seeing. Don't just take it for granted. Always be looking at the ghost image. And you can see right now that it's just a outwards angle. You really don't see a design. You do see a cylinder set up in the middle, but really nothing else that intrigues me. But because of how tall this is going to be, coming up all the way up to here at least, this one might want to have a little base to it. So let's keep it going. Now, I'm not using this because it's my favorite tool. I'm using this because you can do it with what you got. Big difference between favorite tool and working with whatever you have. So that was the modified roughing gouge. Here I go with the Hurricane. Now, if you're getting this flutter that you're hearing over here and the jerking of my tool, it's because I'm being aggressive. You can see, you're getting that. You're being a little bit aggressive. You want to eliminate that? Just grab a new edge and grab it nice and easy, and you can see that you're no longer getting that shaking up and down. You can always eliminate that to control your cut better by how aggressive you're being. If I start getting that and I don't want it, I just back off on the cut a little bit. But at this point, I'm just trying to get to the bottom of this. I'm pushing rather hard, at least to where the lathe can handle the cut. Then when I get closer to where I need to be, then I can refine it and go a little bit lighter. Now you look at this and you say, oh my God, Al, you're butchering that up. Personally, who cares at this point? This point, I am creating a shape. I'm not looking for pretty cuts. Yes, automatically in some areas you're going to get much cleaner cut even though you're butchering it at that time. But there comes to a point, I'm too far away from there. I am just trying to get to the bottom of this. Then I will focus in there and make some nice light cuts and clean that up appropriately. But at this point, it is what it is. But if I want to clean it up, now I'm not gouging into it, but still far, far away from being where I need to be. So I'm not looking for that right now. I'm not looking to get this clean area that you're seeing over here. I will, all in due time, I will get the cut looking like that. But for now, I still have a long ways to go on this. I still want to see what comes up once I get to the top of this. So once I get to the top of this nub that's here, basically, it's going to end up being something like this. And to this side, it will do the same, but I might bring it up all the way up to here. Okay, I might bring it up all the way up to the top of this, and therefore making the bowl a little bit smaller here, but it will catch somewhere around this area right here. So this will end up being with these two high wings going lower here, and same thing here, a high wing, and that's how I probably see this one panning out. I can already see that this is becoming a lot more uniform in the sense that I see the bowl a lot clearer. Now, this, if I was to take it right now and start throwing up the top, well, I know what this would be doing. This would be coming out around these bark areas and all of this would be gone. If I keep it going, well, I'm going to start eating into this, but coming up a little bit higher on this area right here and probably catch up to the top of this one. So this one might be a sacrifice that I can do without, even though it's a balance point between these two, more so than these right here. The shape that I got here, I see it as somewhat pleasing, so I'm going to see if I can bring it up just to the top of this and lose a little bit of this one, but it will still catch in here as a return. Be looking. Not saying that what I'm creating is what everybody would like, but I am looking at what's happening with the OG, what is going on with the design and the whole piece as one. So I have one on here. Once I get to the top of this, this is really going to bring this wing and this wing quite a bit higher, probably up to where I originally designed, but most of this will be gone. There will only be a little hint of this piece right here. Then we'll look at height and see what we want to do with the base. Do we want to shrink it down? What do we want to do? We'll make it look good. This actually is going to pretty much vanish, but we will see the knot, the remaining of this bit going through here, which will look fine. I want to get rid of this flat cut here. It's something about me. I don't like it when I get a piece if I don't have a choice. If I have a choice, I will work it until I get out of there. And I do have a choice, but the choice seems to be being limited, because by the time I get all the way up to the top of this, I will be creating the same problem up here. So this will give me that flat cut. And this one over here, if I come up this high, it will give me this flat cut. So play with it carefully. See if you can just alter the shape without coming up all the way up here, by concaving the whole piece more from the outside. Flared out way up here a little bit more than you are flared over here. I will see. I'm going to make a small start cut back here away from the top and see how much I have to go to get to the top of this one. Okay, go a little bit higher, not much, and deeper in this area. Well, having these flat cuts over here, I'm going in here and running this off as part of the bowl, and I will decide how far down I want to go with it. Either way, I have to end up with cuts, so I might make the bowl a little bit more uniformed with the way that it should be. Work on shapes, uniform. Don't make shapes go all over the place. If you're flowing upwards or you're doing a concave, make sure that it flows and all of a sudden it doesn't do something funky. I think right now this looks pretty good. I like what's going on here. I just want to bring this convex in a little bit deeper, and I might bring this up all the way up to the top, but I think it stands too proud to do that. So I'm going to play with this a little bit in here, kind of refine this area over here of this neck and see what I want to do with this transition. I kind of like this bump out to complement the bottom again, but I think that if I do this over here, keeping it this way, it's going to force me to be the same thing as the bottom. So I might just go in deep enough and do the same thing that I did here on the top, so it complements this on both edges. So let's see what that does. Yep, I'm going to take it down right over here and just get these two areas right here to complement that, and the fact that this is flat does not bother me. I'm going to do a little texturing on this right about here. Gotta give it a little bit on this long part. I got character here, I got plenty going on here, but the body right here seems to be a little bit bland, so. Separate it with a couple of beads. Just polishing this up. I think this has a nice subtle finish on it. I like it. Not super glossy, but uniformed. Time to remove it from the chuck, flip it, and give my finish. Gotta take out that foot, just quite a foot in here, and the way I'm gonna do it is see if it actually fits in here, which it doesn't, but I have plenty of pieces that will jam chuck this, So I'll use this big one since I got the big jaws in here. Could go on either, small or large. The outside ring fits on this, which is deep jaws, and the inner ring fits on the 2.5 inch jaws. Got the center mark over there, which works out when it's in there. It's not there all the time, and I just find it when it's not there, but when it's there, take advantage of it, and you can go, and everything is true, and nice and easy, and that's exactly what I do. Is I go easy. This is not the time to be going in there and gouging the heck out of this. I still go a little bit aggressive, but should go nice and easy. Got about 3/8 of an inch there. And there it is. Little sawdust on that crack over there. Some CA, of course. And then sand buff it. Well, here it is. Not my typical style, but it's a beautiful piece of sycamore, and it's okay. Burned a couple of lines to accentuate the bottom, this part over here, trying to stay somewhat of a pattern that goes large, a little bit smaller, and a little bit smaller, going from the top down. Got the secondary ring over here, which just gives it a little bit of a profile, which I think looks pretty good. The inside looks pretty good, but it's a little bit on the thicker side than I normally do. On this case, wanted to keep the inclusions here, but I did not want to come true. I do a lot of it where, you know, I will punch right through. I'm close to this, but just a little thicker than what I normally make. The overall shape, I think, I don't know, what does it look like? It's not a chalice, but some sort of a trophy cup. If I put a lid on this, a tight lid on this, it would make a beautiful urn for a pet urn. So for now, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to leave the piece as it is, as I don't have much time to spend on the lathe. So if I come out here and I make 1 or 2 pieces and I'm able to come up with something that looks pretty good, then I've had a successful weekend. The first time I turned this, I was kind of disappointed. When I got this wood, I showed it on Facebook, and I couldn't believe how many people showed me some beautiful work that they had made out of this wood. They told me how it spalted pretty quick. Well, this didn't spalt, but it got beautiful colorations as it sat outside. I guess these little marks that you see going through here, very minute, very small, is the characteristics of this type of wood, which makes it pretty nice. Sycamore, huh? Got 1 pit. Well, this has a couple of knots going through, or a couple of pits. One is right here, the other one is right here, opposite of each other. And they should have been something small indication of 1, or actually 2, because this had 4 branches, branch offs. But I really don't see it other than this dark area going through here, which is where the branch came out of. And on this side it should give me something as well, down here, I guess. So these were the 4 branches that it had. Pretty piece. At least the wood has proven to be worthy, and a nice piece of wood. I like my natural stuff. I liked what I was turning before that I could not succeed with the fat wood. Unfortunately, sometimes we'll get a piece that just no matter how hard we try or how good we are or not, you know, it just doesn't work. In that case, I was really pressing my luck and really was determined to make it go, because so many people told me I couldn't, but sometimes that is the case. No matter how hard you try, the wood will just not behave. If I really wanted to make just something to make it happen and let all that sap come through and all that stuff, I would have been able to cut it, but it would have not been good regardless because of all that sap that was coming out. I would have to burn it again, and then how would I clean it? Oh, I would need to clean it up, sand it, use chemical to get rid of some of that, and you know, it would have never looked good as a finished piece. But on the other hand, this looks fine as a finished piece. Well, thanks for watching. I will see you again. I don't know if I'll be back out here today. I'm going to bring this inside the video card and see how this looks on video. Let's see how I did, and that hopefully I was actually capturing stuff, because sometimes I'm filming the back of my head and not the wood that I'm turning. But anyway, thanks again. We'll see you very soon. Take care.